Okay, there we go. And hopefully third time is the charm.
I was just about to say that.
You know, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna steal a bit from Ethan. Let's see, where was it? It's a My Chemical Romance song.
Oh boy.
I can't remember. I can't remember the name, but I remember. But I remember a line from it. Ah, here we are. House of Wolves. Let's see. Well, I think I'm gonna burn in hell. Everybody burn the house down. She says, well, what I wanna say, tell I'm an angel. Take this to my grave. Tell me I'm a bad man. Kick me like a slave. Tell me I'm an angel. Take this to my grave. S-I-N. And it repeats every
I
blah, blah,
thought
blah.
we weren't going to give Dan a strike on his account.
Oh, come on. I already insinuated that you eat dog. We're already past that.
Yeah, but we don't want to dig the hole even further.
Besides, it's me singing just me singing like one track, like a couple lines out of that song, and like who's gonna hear that?
It's YouTube.
Oh, come on. I mean, like I'm pretty sure Ethan sings all the time on history. I mean, he doesn't get flagged.
They probably like the super chat money he gets.
Ugh. Yeah, I bet they do.
Oh man, that's gonna be funny if they.
They like all the
Well,
super. I bet they really liked all the super chat money they got off all the alt-right channels.
oh yeah, I mean it's really funny how hypocritical they are.
Now, here's a funny thing. I was watching a video by a guy called The Distributist, and he made a video about how it was the super chat that killed the alt right.
Really.
Well, here's the thing. With super chats, you could get the guy who was streaming, like in this case, he was using JF Gadiepe as you know who he is, right?
Yeah, he used to be co-host with Andy Worski, and
Yeah.
I heard some pretty interesting things about what happened, but between them. But go ahead with your story.
Yeah. If you really want to laugh, supposedly JF has had David Duke on as his co-host multiple times.
Oh, I believe it. I mean,
Yeah.
he's had Richard Spencer on too.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, JF was one of those streamers who got by a lot on super chats. Well, people would do super chats to get him to say all kinds of outrageous shit.
Oh God.
And then, of course, well, we all know what recently happened.
Yeah, yeah. I who didn't see that one coming though. So
Yeah. Yeah, so H HPG Wells Craft says for the lulz, no doubt.
like what you wanted to do with Ethan.
That's not. Oh, I'm salty. He did not go for that.
But
Yeah. Okay. While we wait for Tank to come back, what are we gonna talk? What's the?
what? Well, you want to hear about some unconfirmed salt?
Sure. Sure. Cool.
So apparently, the reason why JF got so upset with Andy Worski was because Worski did not come through on certain promises that he made JF, like merchandise.
Interesting.
Yep. I mean, as much as Papa JF is cringy, it's Worski should have followed through if it's true.
Starting to. Gonna say. I mean, like I don't know what the whole situation. I don't know what the whole backroom deal with Tonka and Crowd is, but this is kind of lending more credence to his side than it is to Andy's, to be honest.
Honestly, Failure said that the audio is from June, back when him and Tonka were talking, and Tonka seems like the type of guy that if he's playing something, it's not a 20-year ops thing. It already happened, and people would have evidence of him doing it through the doxes.
Plus, even if Tonka was up to some shady shit like that, I mean, like that would probably be enough for him and Failure's friendship to be over, and that's when you know something's wrong.
Yeah, and based on the stories I've heard about Tonka, about how he'd behind the scenes help YouTubers he liked, he seems like one of those guys that seems like he's someone who's not easy to be friends with, but he's also pretty compassionate despite the how he's seen acts.
Well, he has. Well, he had a career being an indie wrestler,
Yep.
and I guarantee you, like, do you know what like a big rule in wrestling is?
Hmm.
Maintain kayfabe.
Oh yeah.
For those of you who don't know, kayfabe is a wrestling term that means keep the show going. As in,
Yeah.
if you're the bad guy, you act like you're the bad guy, even in public.
Yeah, and he's doing that with Kumite.
Yeah.
He's keeping it going. And I think keeping the feud with Worski going is part of his act. While I do think that there is bad blood between them, it's just getting overblown because he's keeping it going.
So for in other words, for Tonga, this is just showmanship.
Yeah, with Worski, it's him being a spurg.
Andy, you would be better off if you knew how wrestling worked.
Well, the fact that he's going to be doing mixed martial arts with Tonka is gonna be God.
Isn't Tonka like a cripple?
Apparently no, because he said yes to the fight.
Good point.
And besides, even if he was a cripple, there's Andy's IQ too to take into account.
Yeah. But yeah, what Tonka's doing, it's all a show, and Andy, because he's an idiot, is just falling for it.
Yep. Although
so in other words, Tonka's still the guy who won Internet Blood Sports.
Yep.
All because he knew it was a show.
Yep.
Actually, who would have guessed the guy who was a natural showman would come out on top?
Apparently not Worski.
Yeah.
And what are the odds that he'll come across this stream and then block us? Or he'll block Dan because
he can't block me. Because he doesn't even know what my. I'm signed into my channel on my other PC on my desktop, but the only way Andy's gonna know the only way Andy's gonna know to block me is if I actually type in the chat, and I'm not going to.
Yeah, but it's. At one point I did have a conversation with Bob Jones about YouTube personalities, and you know who Aiden Paladin is, right?
Oh yeah, I know who she is.
Well, the first time I saw one of her streams was when she was going all out on Star Trek Discovery.
Of course she did.
And it got taken down because she was using clips from Star Trek 4.
Is that so?
Oh yeah, and then she had a stream with Failure and another guy about talking about Star Trek, and then that got taken down.
Wow, so you can't even talk about Star Trek without CBS flagging it.
Yep. CBS, what are you doing? Oh my God, we were talking about Star Trek.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Now I know I'm not. Now I know I'm not bringing the flagging curse.
Apparently so. So to dig that hole a bit deeper, to bring into comics, I'm gonna say that my first comics were the Star Trek comics from the 7-Eleven stands.
Mm-hmm.
Which back then were the DC Comics version, written by Peter David back when he could write.
I think didn't Peter David also like write several of the Star Trek novels too?
Oh yeah, he even wrote one of I think the only Next Generation novel that was considered to be canon by Gene Roddenberry.
Really?
Yep. Imzadi, which is basically the Riker, Deanna Troy love story.
So that explains how Riker and Troy got together. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's an episode that explained that somewhere, but the way I remember it, I kind of remember it sort of just happening.
Oh yeah. Although, like a lot of things that Gene Roddenberry considers canon, it's not canon.
Really?
Yep. Gene Roddenberry did not have that kind of creative control. Otherwise, 2, 3, 5, and 6 would never have happened.
Fuck. I don't know. Should we consider? I don't know if we should consider that good or not.
Well, he was the guy who decided that it'd be a great idea to have the cast wear costumes that were a size too small so that they can have wrinkleless clothes to make the future seem cleaner.
A size too small. Yeah.
Yep.
Knowing Gene, I think it was just it's just so he could ogle the chicks on set.
Well, probably. And Patrick Stewart ruined it because he said that the reason why they changed out of the seasons 1 through 3 uniforms is because it was developing a back problem for him. So it's either change the uniforms or he quits.
Yep.
Also, Gene Roddenberry was dead at the time, so I guess that says a lot.
Well, here's something funny I just saw on Twitter.
Oh boy.
It's a Ben and Jerry's tweet. Today we launch Pecan Resist. This flavor supports groups creating a more just and equitable nation for us all, and who are fighting President Trump's regressive agenda. Learn more and take action here at benandjerrys.com/pecanresist. Ben & Jerry's, your ice cream sucks and it's overpriced, and only fucking hipsters buy it.
Yeah.
Fucking white hipsters buy it.
An A for the pawn, and F for the description.
I'm gonna RT that. Let's see if I can get blocked by Ben & Jerry's. That'll be fucking hilarious.
Maybe you should. Maybe if that doesn't work, you could always send the tried and true Picard facepalm. That works on Comics Ultimate Badass, John Layman.
I got blocked by John Layman just for calling him a little bitch.
Well, he is.
Yeah. Yeah, he is a little bitch.
All right, I'll be right back for a second.
Your ice cream sucks. It's overpriced, and only rich white hipsters buy this garbage. No way, it gotta be only rich white liberal hipsters buy this garbage. Buy this garbage. There we go. Now there's a skull. Now there's a molten hot take. This garbage. Yep. Who agrees with me that that's a good take? I think that's a great take. It's a scalding hot take. It's a molten hot take. Hank. Ben & Jerry's is awful. Get Tillamook. That's good ice cream, and it's local. At least in the Pacific Northwest, it's local. I don't know about the rest of you guys. I don't know if you can get it, but it's fucking... If you can get Tillamook ice cream wherever you are, it's great.
So, how much more do you think that they'll go? How much crazier do you think they're gonna get?
I don't know. I don't. Like I said, nobody would buy Ben & Jerry's ice cream.
There's probably a reason why I see a lot of it in the grocery store, and it's not because they keep it stacked.
Huh. So I just told people they should be buying Tillamook. That's actually good ice cream.
Yep. Well, any ice cream is better than that crap. And
that is actually true, though. Pretty much anything is better than Ben & Jerry's.
Yep. So I just got a notification about a retreat that's going to send people re-ink.
Tell me.
Oh, I just linked in the group chat. So
can you link it in the Slack?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm going to get some hate.
Can you link it in this? All right, let's take a look. Yeah, I know.
Oh, man, and...
Oh, John.
There's a lot of anger going on.
You think... Weird, I can't find your... You're not gonna find it, HPG Wellscraft, because we didn't post it in the chat.
You know, I'll post it in for him.
Yeah. You're not gonna find it.
I just gotta get over to... And yes, for Time's a Charm. Except that we don't have Tank with us, unfortunately.
He'll be back. Give him time. He'll be back. It's weird. I wanted to tag Tillamook in my tweet. Huh. Their official Twitter account is called Tillamook Cheese. I mean, they are technically a dairy. Yeah, they technically do make cheese, but some ice cream.
So, tomorrow, Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Funny.
and I unfortunately have to work.
Tomorrow is Teachers Appreciation Day. So I'm going to assume that I'm going to have a nice quiet day because last time they did that, nobody sewed.
Fuck, dude. I have to work tomorrow.
And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people during the day buying candy for trick-or-treating.
I bet there is. I was talking about this. I was on Discord with Dylan, Dinte, and Ginger.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to record a podcast. Unfortunately, the audio file got sort of fucked up, and like, let me put it this way: the way the audio file came out was people's voices were overlaid where they weren't.
That's weird.
Like for a few seconds, it would sound like I'm talking to just thin air, but then other people's dialogue would come in like afterwards. If you hear it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I think I've got an idea.
Dylan says it's possible to maybe unfuck the audio file, but so I'm gonna have to look into that. But I'm gonna have to look. But luckily, I remembered I have a backup channel, sort of, that I kind of made without really meaning to, because when I set up the email account for my comic, that created another Google account, so I technically have another channel. I just have to wait for it to get verified for streams first.
And that's how I found out about my channel's issues, because I decided, Sunday night, I decided to check it out, see if I can, tinker around with the live stream stuff, and just so that I don't look like a complete idiot on Touch Day. Find out that I have to verify the account, so it has to be done through my phone number. So I put in my phone number, and it would not let me use it. It said I can only use it for 2 accounts, and I don't have 2 accounts. At least I don't have 2 accounts that are tied to YouTube. So I decided, okay, maybe this is something that's going on because YouTube hates me. Maybe YouTube doesn't like Asians like Mark Waid doesn't like Asians.
Are you kidding? Roman, we got fuck, who's that guy? Nigga Higa was like one of the big channels back in the day. He's Asian.
Okay, maybe they don't like half Asians.
Roman Millennial's on.
Well, she's hot, so. Knowing
also, hold up, I just saw a fucking hilarious take by Don Lemon.
Oh god.
I don't see Democrats killing people over politics.
The funny thing is that I think Don Lemon would be out if Ted Turner was still running CNN.
Really?
Yeah, because Ted Turner is not happy about where CNN is going. He says it's too political.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't see it, but I am laughing very quietly right now just because of how. Oh my god! This is like if Alanis Morissette and O. Henry had a baby and named it this exact thing. And yes, I did just quote. I did just quote Archer there.
I do like how Steve Scalise just tweeted the article about Don Lemon.
Yeah, with the surprised emoji.
Yes. No.
It's like, okay, one of two things are there. Don Lemon is either so insulated that he has no idea what goes on outside of his left liberal bubble, or he is willfully lying.
Well, you remember how he spoke out on his Republican guest? Going, no, 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 no. Every time the guy tried to talk.
So do you think he's just that insulated?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Turn off your damn phone.
That was work. They probably want me to come in.
Fuck.
I'm debating. Do I want to, or do I want to talk and work on more on the comic and make things? You know, last night it fucking sucks. So, and I think I might be going over hours if I go in. So, yeah.
No, stay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
I'm not gonna. Besides, God knows how long Tank's gonna take to eat, so I don't want to be talking to myself. And
oh yeah, you're gonna talk to yourself and you look like a talk radio host, actually.
Yeah. Ah, fuck. Now I remember what I was gonna tell you when it was over Discord.
What?
It was actually related to Halloween.
Oh boy.
So like I don't know if you saw Sporkman's stream, with Ginger in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you know about the duel she did with Regina and Maven, the zombie furry.
Yeah.
Dylan said because when she was coloring it, she sort of made it a nighttime scene. So Dylan said it's happening at Halloween, and then and of course you know about this Halloween issue I've got planned later down the line.
Yep.
Okay, did I tell you that I've sort of worked it into Maeve's background that she's never really gone trick-or-treating?
Really?
And it's not for the Now Dylan said it. Now Dylan said, "Hey, Christian family or no, kids have to go trick-or-treating." I told him, "No, that's not why."
She's an introvert, so in a way, it's kind of I expect it.
Yeah, the way I see it happen is that she tried going trick-or-treating once when she was little and ended up going home after getting so freaked out that she started crying. And then I just realized, oh my god, I have a lot of childhood traumas for her that I'm gonna play for.
You're an asshole.
No. Here's the thing. She has quite a few childhood traumas that I am gonna play for yucks.
Oh god. Boy, do I feel bad for her.
I don't know. It's like, well, like how when you're a kid, okay, it's like one of those things where you're a little kid, something scares you, and it's like the worst thing in the world. But then when you get older, you look back on it, and then you sort of have to kind of laugh at it because it was actually kind of stupid in retrospect.
Yeah. Oh yeah, kids always have those kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Kinds of issues. It's just it all depends on the kid.
Yeah. And then of course it ends with her and Jenny ending with a bunch of candy and a scary movie marathon, and then she digs in and finds a fun-sized pack of M&Ms.
Oh man.
This is now everyone listening at home, this is gonna be funny because she hates them. And there will be and the reason why is going to be actually pretty funny. I don't feel like telling that right now.
Probably for a good reason.
Well, I don't want to give away too much.
No, I mean, you've already given away a lot.
Also, I didn't give away that much.
All the traumas you planned on her. Yeah, what?
Wow, I am actually kind of an asshole when I think about it. Hey, Tank is back.
Hey, Tank.
Hey.
Although, to be fair, I think Tank is a bigger asshole for what he does to his characters.
Yeah.
Oh, you have no idea.
Yeah, it's just that Matt said I'm an asshole because I've got a bunch of childhood traumas from Maeve that I'm going to play for yucks.
Yeah, but there's kind of a difference. Tank's doing it to adults, you're doing it to a kid.
Well, my one character does carry childhood trauma for the last 180 years.
Yeah, but I'm playing Maeve's trauma for yucks. It's supposed to be funny.
You evil, evil person.
I know, right?
Actually, I think in my case, I'm being more of a jerk. Like God knows what you're doing. You're going about as far as you can without going into Game of Thrones territory,
which I will never do. I'm trying my utmost.
Well, I think there's a distinction between Game of Thrones and then A Song of Ice and Fire. A Song of Ice and Fire actually has reasons for deaths, while Game of Thrones just kills people just for the sake of killing people.
For shits and giggles.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain characters who are dead in the show that are still alive in the books because they felt like it. Also, one fan of the books who told them that they shouldn't do it because it's just such a massive change in the story.
Wow, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Benioff and Weiss are actually worse writers than George R.R. Martin.
Well, you see, that's all the funny thing if you talk about bad writing. I look at shows on the CW like Arrow, Flash, and every single episode you can pick up where Mark Guggenheim was involved. You could see every time there's unnecessary, unneeded, unrequited bullshit drama, it's Guggenheim all over it. When he's not involved.
To be fair,
when he's not involved, the shows are good.
Yeah. Although, I mean, is that really a fair comparison? Like, Arrow and Flash have a very different audience from Game of Thrones.
You could tell...
Regardless of the audience, it comes down to shitty writing, and unfortunately, a bad writer is easily distinguishable from the rest.
Yeah. You know what's funny about Game of Thrones when they went off the deep end? Was that during the first 4 seasons, they go on about how the North remembers.
Yeah.
And George R.R. Martin sets it up for a grand, just giant conspiracy against the people, the invaders of the North. Meanwhile, Benioff and his co-writer decide, hey, let's just make the Northerners a bunch of disloyal fuckers who will change their mind on a moment's whim.
What?
Oh, yeah. Basically, the Lords of the North in the books are conspiring against the usurpers, while in the show they say they go when Sansa Stark and Jon Snow are building an army, they go, well, why is this our problem?
Actually, it sounds like I actually have to read this.
Here's what I remember George R. R. Martin saying about the North. They're not disloyal. They're stubborn. They're proud. And the only reason they broke away from the Seven Kingdoms is because, not out of disloyalty, because they had their own history of having their own kings.
Yep. The Starks were the kings of the North, and it was one of the main reasons
they wanted to rule themselves.
And one of the main reasons why they were so against the invaders was because of the Red Wedding, where many of their children were killed.
Yeah, that scene is one I am trying my utmost to avoid. I know there's reasons why it was done and everything, but that is like a benchmark in my writing that I'm trying to avoid. That is like it's kind of like what in the one part of dialogue beneath the Red Hood, like Batman said, it's too easy to go that route. It's just too easy.
Too easy to go there because it's too easy to make the Northerners just nationalists.
No, it's too easy to just make everything fucking die.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
It's too easy to write just okay, cool. Here's a cool death scene. Done.
Well, I think in this case, it all depends on context, such as when he had the Red Wedding, it also set off a huge amount of anger, but there was consequences to it that were felt, but in the books at least, but not in the show. The show just sucks at writing.
The show is pretty much 2 steps removed from being hardcore porn.
Yeah, and
which is what I kind of find funny. This is what I find extremely funny about it. Somebody thought it clever to actually make a porn parody of Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah,
there's kind of no point.
Yeah, it's just funny because the name, Game of Bones.
Yep.
Hey, Avid comic readers in the chat now.
Oh, hey, Avid.
Yeah, he's probably a bit perplexed as to what's going on here.
I have a strike on my channel, Avid, so Dan's letting us use his.
And we have no mods in the chat, so uh-oh.
Well, I don't want to tinker with Dan's channel, so I'm not gonna make you a mod. That's up to him.
Oh no, I'm not asking that. I'm just saying, hey, we have no mods. But it's all good because we're not gonna have anyone like sketch therapy involved. Oops.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hey.
What? Oh fuck. Do we really? What if it's like one of those cases where you say his name and he pops in?
Yeah. Why must you invoke them? I just had to turn on my roof fan a little bit.
Well, to be honest, I think he's too busy spurting out on Kevin Cummings.
Whoa.
That guy really should. That guy should not be on social media.
Anybody who's suffering from any sort of problems, like he is, and he's
really
got a
shouldn't.
confirmed case of PTSD, he should actually be seeking professional help. He really should. I'm certain he could actually be a nice guy once he's had the ability to deal with his problems. I honestly believe that.
It's really, I think he's a complicated person right now. I think
he's not complicated.
What?
Which person isn't complicated?
Yeah, but I can see where he's actually trying to help at times. But there's a he goes about it extremely angry, and that's how you can tell it's PTSD.
Yeah.
He does have some good advice at times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tragic case, honestly.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be on. He should be away from social media. This is social media. Just it brings out the worst in people too easily.
That is true. That is very true. Go off on a tangent. But regardless, yeah, back to writing and everything. Yeah, see, I want to avoid going too dark because a few people that have, Matt included, you yourself, have stated that the little bits and pieces you saw is like, yeah, it's 2 steps away from going that route. So yeah, I'm trying my best to avoid going too dark because, let's be honest, it doesn't always help. I'm not trying to be 40K. Like I'm not trying to be Game of Thrones.
Yeah, for the record, I mean, like, there's, I don't know, a lot of people. I don't know how many people know this, but it's possible to go so dark that it just becomes comical.
Yeah.
40K.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah, it's like 40K. It's 40K.
It's dark to the point of parody.
Yeah, it's like it was being written by an edgy high schooler.
maybe it is.
Like,
you don't know.
Especially like what you've told us about, like with the Dark Eldar, like that is shit you can't take seriously.
There's all, and then there's the jokes about how big the ships in 40K are. Have you ever seen? If you guys, ever seen?
No, I've seen the size comparisons, especially something like, say, the Planet Killer. I mean, Failbadon, the armless ship, is pretty much one of the biggest vessels I've ever heard of in any show ever. Show or story or anything.
Buddy of mine told me that the Dark Angel's Fortress Monastery is the largest ship in the Imperium's fleet.
Well, because it's literally a chunk of the planet of Caliban that's floating around, which they stuck some void shields and engines on, and off we go.
And, well, honestly, it's...
Oh, yeah, chunk of the planet. I'm sure that's space-worthy.
It's 40K. They do whatever the
hell. Ask questions. Shit happens.
Like, imagine. Okay, just imagine if the Dark Angel's Fortress Monastery gets in a battle. What's it got for protection? You're gonna tell me the crust, what survived of Caliban, is sturdy enough armor? Does it have shields?
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't you just hear what I said? Yeah. Didn't you just hear what I said? They took the largest void shield generators that they could find, numerous ones of them, and stuck them on this piece of fucking rock and some engines, and off they go. That is literally the description that they give you when you look up the rock on the internet.
That's what it's called, the rock?
Yes.
Oh boy, that's not going to lead to any confusion at all.
And now I'm imagining that Azrael is voiced by Sean Connery.
Or, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
No. Trust me, Sean Connery works better for this. Because you get on board the ship and welcome to the Rock.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Rock. I can't do it. I suck.
I thought Sean Connery had one of those voices anyone could do.
Nope, not me. Nope. See, the thing is, the South African accent is very distinctive, so it kind of overrides anything you try to do.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It sounds like it sounds like a weird hybrid of Anglo and African.
Well, you see, because I was raised speaking Afrikaans majority of my life, Afrikaans being my primary, home language. So that's what I speak the most. That's what permeates.
I thought English was South Africa's official language.
No, we actually have 11.
You have 11 official languages.
Yes. It's the Rainbow Nation, buddy.
I'm trying to figure out if you're better off than us because we don't have, because all we've got is a de facto official language.
Trust me, even though we have 11 official languages, is the official one that's to be spoken. But believe it or not, the most spoken language is actually still Afrikaans.
Not English.
Not English, no. And they're trying their utmost to kill the language.
Well, they're already trying to do that over here with how they're importing. I'm not gonna. Okay, I'm not gonna go any further because I do not want to.
Yes.
I do not want to get a strike on Dan's channel.
Yes.
Hell, if my Uber
Let's see if I can do this. I'm an Irish person.
I do a better Irish accent.
What?
Oh man, we should. Oh fuck! I mean, it'd be funny if we had Carl or in here.
That's it. I can do quite a few accents, but when I try to do them on streams and everything, it just falls apart because I usually crack myself up laughing because I hear myself and it's like, no. I mean, you can look at my first couple of videos on my channel, and it's like, yeah,
dude. If you had to sort of rank where all the languages fall, where does English end up?
What do you mean?
You said like Afrikaans is like the official language, but you've got 11 official languages.
Is the official language because it's the most spoken or supposed to be the most spoken. It's just based on the history of the country, how the government used to do things. They tried to force Afrikaans to be the main language, the de facto language, but they did it differently because they didn't actually try to stamp out the other languages. Now, on the flip side, with the shoe on the other foot, the different guys in power are now actually actively trying to destroy a language and a culture.
Well, that's a problem because whether you like it or not, English is the language most businesses do it in.
No. But here's the funny thing, though. The first heart transplant was performed by Dr. Chris Barnard. Yeah, in South Africa, educated in nothing but Afrikaans.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of blows the whole thing out of the water that they're trying to illustrate, with the narrative that they're running with language and everything. You can't do anything in Afrikaans. Okay, cool, buddy. First heart transplant. I'm waving my middle finger in the air right now because I can.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But enough of that. I'm just trying to see if there's anything interesting in the news.
The only thing we saw was a really bad take by Don Lemon that he doesn't see anyone killing because of Democrats.
Oh, really?
Well,
let's see if I can find some. Let's see if I can find some homegrown TDS. That's always fun.
Oh wait.
You would think a country with as much problems as we have, we'd not be involved in watching the rest of your stuff over that side, but oh boy, does it get fun this side with Trump derangement syndrome. Dude, it is the funniest shit ever seeing these people fall over themselves.
Yeah, but it is.
No. All I got is the usual stuff from our side that is dominating the news now, the VBS bank scandal. Essentially, an entire bank that was bankrupted of billions of rands, and nobody paid attention to it.
Oh, gee.
Huh. Sounds like a lot of important stories over here, too, that don't get covered.
Yeah. Oh, well. Doesn't really... and the gigantic fire in the Western Cape. That's like footnote news.
Oh yeah, please. We had a wildfire just this summer.
Yeah. Oh well. I really, really want to get this thing finished so I can start teasing a little bit. But
Yeah. Yeah, no, you have some day you just have some
because
where you're more productive than others.
see, the problem is I suck at teasing because you know me. If I start talking, I don't shut up.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
also that. Also that. Well, I can. You know what? We can keep me talking. Now there's gonna be. This isn't. I don't consider this a spoiler because this is a detail that I'm just gonna change out of the book. So originally, like by the second issue, I was in the second issue's draft. I was gonna have Gavin go back to Maeve's house with her. He was gonna pose as a house cat, and then I started thinking to myself, wait. This kind of comes with implications, like things I don't want people thinking too hard about.
Yes, you
Well, they're gonna
should.
think too hard about that kind of stuff anyway.
And so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna change it around that he's gonna hang around Aberdeen, sure, because he's sort of stuck there. For reasons that will be explained in the book. But he's more or less going to be living like a stray cat.
Well, damn. At least he's not going to look like a vagrant on the streets.
Yeah.
Well, he's a puka. He can turn into a cat, so that's...
Yeah.
It's better. I want to keep as much baggage off of the book as possible. And Matt, here's the thing: when I originally floated this to Matt, he told me you're making something that is inspired by manga and is like pretty much a reversal of it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the whole idea. You want to turn established conventions on their heads, and you want to actually provide a good story that doesn't rely on one-off gags.
I didn't go into this intending to turn established conventions on their head. It's just how things turned out.
I think
That's usually the best way. It grew organically. You didn't force it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's how it happens with every creator. It's just that a lot of them lie.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, true. I mean, like conventions, quote unquote, that I'm turning on their head. It's just like I said. It's just being. None of it's like I'm not doing any of this intentionally. It's like, it's just again. It's like like Tank said. It's kind of happening organically.
Yep. And organically, stuff that involves organically grown stories tend to be better than any kind of story that is forced.
In other words, writers, this is how you subvert people's expectations the right way.
Yeah, but no matter what diversity in comics says, Flash Jedi was bad.
Sorry, I missed that. You broke up.
No matter what diversity in comics says, The Last Jedi is still bad.
I don't. Wait. How could Zach act? Okay, Zach
because he's got bad movie taste. He's got
Exactly.
legitimately
extremely horrible
film.
movie taste.
Okay, here's the thing. I can buy that Zach doesn't think it's as bad as everyone says it is, but I cannot believe for 1 second he thinks it's legitimately good.
He literally just said that RoboCop 3 is a good movie, and that is a bad movie.
Well, okay. I wouldn't say it's as good as the first two, but it's one of those movies, it's one of those bad movies you can laugh at least.
I wonder what his opinion of Batman and Robin is.
Look, Tank, I'll agree with you.
Maybe we should
RoboCop 3 is bad, but it's Plan 9 or Room bad.
Maybe, but you know the funny thing is, I was going through I was watching a scene from Gintama where Kintoki takes on his role as as a teacher, and in his lectures about how movies, whenever movies go to the third one, they tend to suck. And he lists Alien 3, Terminator 3 as examples, and Home Alone 2 as a kid's ego running away.
Interesting.
Yeah,
But I can kind of agree there because Terminator 3 was also pretty damn bad. But unpopular opinion, I thought Salvation was good.
it was
Well,
better than
I actually liked it.
It was better than 3. Yeah, you have to give it that much.
I actually liked the angle they took with it.
Yeah. You know, I gotta.
They should just stuck with it, showing the future war.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was definitely cool.
You know,
But
I gotta. There has to be one. There has to be one 3 that's actually bad. That's actually legitimately good. And then
The Return of the King.
Return of the Jedi, Captain America: Civil War.
Debatable on Civil War.
Civil War was not a Captain America movie. It was Avengers Lot. Changed my mind.
Avengers 2.5.
Okay, then that only leaves Iron Man 3, which wasn't bad, but wasn't really good either.
I guess for Ragnarok. But
I didn't hate it.
I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really give an opinion. Actually, I can't give opinion on a lot of Marvel movies these days. I still haven't seen Infinity War.
Neither have I. Neither have I. I mean, literally, I have not. All these movies that have come out, the only one I actually want to see is Wonder Woman.
And
I don't care about the rest. I don't care about Black Panther. I don't care about Avengers. I don't care about whatever the fuck else. The new Ant-Man. I don't care. I don't even want to see Thor Ragnarok that much.
Yeah, you're not really missing much. Like I
But
said,
that is-
I walked away. I didn't hate it, but it's like I saw it the one time, and that was enough for me.
yeah, that's how I began feeling about the first Avengers movie. I can't really watch it too many times because it's just not that much. It's not a movie that you can watch numerous times, especially with the Whedon dialogue.
Which, by the way, if you keep supporting Changeling, you're basically gonna be getting Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but with much better dialogue.
You know, Brett, last night I was holding myself back because when Optimus Spider posted about how Changeling has the rag seal of approval, I had to keep myself from posting a screenshot of Brian liking one of my Patreon posts.
Yeah. I'd like to join Patreons. I would like to support them. But that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's oh boy. I just saw what you left in Slack. Damn.
Wait till you see the rebuttal.
That's our gross.
Okay, okay, Nerdy, you just opened yourself up to this one.
Yeah.
Snickers. You opened yourself up to this one. You opened yourself up to this one.
And now the live stream turned into a Twitter that?
Because why not? It's all nice. In this case,
Yep.
it's yeah.
I can easily. Let's see how long it takes. Let's see how long it takes her to catch on to this one. Let's see if I can. Ah, frick! I think I had the. There's one of my text to speech device gifs. Oh god, this one is so perfect.
Oh boy.
Do it. Do it.
It is so fucking perfect.
This is when live streams become fun.
When we find
Hilarious ways to do shit. Hey, you're gonna have to share it with the chat if there's anybody in there. Because I can't see.
Okay, let me pull it up. I'm gonna. Okay, I'm gonna post it right. Oh wait, I'm not a mod, so I can't post it in the chat. I can't. Let's just say if you guys are following me on Twitter right now, you'll see it.
Oh god, I already saw it. I already retweeted it as well.
oh god.
She said nuts are gross.
Huh?
She opened herself up to that one.
Did she just inadvertently admit that she munches carpets?
That can easily be skewed in all the wrong ways. It's a good thing.
Well, unfortunately, my mind already went there.
Opened yourself on them. That's one. You know what? Let's see if she's available. Why do you, Matt? See if she's available. Well, to chat.
Is she available for chat?
Yes.
You think yours was bad? Wait till you see mine.
Oh
Matt,
god.
get her. See if you can get her. Look. I'll see if I can. Are you? Oh, we're all. This is.
Pal reached evil cackling.
I'm just wondering. Should we just?
I'm sorry.
Should we bring? I'm just wondering. Should we try bringing her in? Be funny as fuck.
If she wants to.
Want to come in? Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm gonna. Okay. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Oh boy.
Get in.
I don't know. It's too good, too funny. But anyway. So yeah, apart from that happening, anything else interesting?
I don't.
I'm literally. Oh, she liked it. She liked mine.
Yeah, we're just glad she has such a. Okay, I'm just gonna say, you want to ban some more. If you want to ban some more.
Then apart from everything else, I'm still waiting for my copy of Ferryman to arrive.
You know the funny thing?
I know. I'm honestly, I'm hoping it arrives because holy crap!
Oh yeah.
Because if that doesn't arrive, I'm gonna be very angry.
I just
because at the end of the day. No. See, we're now going on week 3. It should have been here. They said around 2 weeks.
Well then.
Yeah. Because if it doesn't arrive, that makes me very worried for another copy of comic I backed for a physical copy. Beatdown Girl. So yeah.
Beatdown. What the fuck is Beatdown Girl?
You've not seen it?
Apparently not.
Crap, she's at work.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to educate you, Mr. Brett.
Sad face. Sad face, no agenda.
Where is YouTube?
She says she's at work.
Channel open.
Apparently, she had enough.
Yeah, well.
Oh well. Would have been fun.
Would have been fun.
Yeah.
But alas, it is not today.
Maybe one of these days on a weekend.
Yeah, provided I'm not working. Okay, so what was it? So what the fuck was Beatdown Girl again? Is that a Punchline
It
spin-off?
is. No, it's a comic that came out that went on to Indiegogo before Punchline was even a thing on Indiegogo. It was one of those that struggled to make funding, and then it happened. I did as I did for most of these. I did a Indiegogo overview, which I just shared with you. If you want to take a look at it.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, what looks like a girl with robot arms.
Yep.
Smashing robots. Yeah. The artist Jake Beal is actually quite the fun guy, and his art is very good. It is still running in demand, I believe. Let's take a look on Indiegogo. Yep, still running in demand. So if you want to back it, it's funny. This thing's still running in demand, but it's not gone much past its goal there. It's still on $3,000.
Well, I think it's because the comic's not very well known. It never got
true,
but it didn't get the EVS pump.
Wow. It's going to succeed regardless of it.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, it looks fun.
Yep. I think that if you want the massive EVS, if you want the massive over the limit kind of campaign, you go on EVS's platform.
Pretty much.
I just find books like these. What?
Wayward Take Man just outdid Nerd Wonder. Yeah, he just outdid her. Just get. I'm gonna post. I'm sorry to do that, but this is just too.
Oh my word! I see it. I see it. That is. Oh my. Oh shit!
You just. Okay, with Nerd Wonder, it was unintentional, but this.
Oh, God.
That is. Yeah. Woo. Spicy.
I'm just gonna give him the clapping gift because that's way too good. He gets a clapping gift. He earned that.
Ooh.
He earned that.
Here's a funny take. It's just funny. It's not double entendre or anything like that. It's just a funny take.
Oh.
You earned this.
Oh yeah, that's. Yeah, so anyone wonder what a hashtag tastes like? Because I don't. It probably tastes like sad disappointment and SJW tears.
Oh well. Anything else interesting?
I'm sorry, but it's just. I'm sorry, but Wayward Tankman just kind of fucking just blew everything. He's just.
Yeah, you don't come back from that.
Yeah, you don't. It's too perfect.
You know, I just thought something about the Ben & Jerry's ice cream. What about the people who pronounce pecan as pecan?
I don't know anyone that does that.
I hear the British do.
Can I? Yeah. So, if you want to give pronunciations, we call them pecan nuts.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'll still go in with the pun. And so, how about the other hot take from last night about Mark Zaid?
Oh, you mean the guy? You mean the
Woo!
guy?
Woo, yeah, that's
What about Mark Zaid? Look? But
Let
I'm
me
just gonna
find it
say
for
this.
you.
I want this out. I want this out there because like Mark Wade, he is gonna get made as big a fool in court as Maddox was in his lawsuit against
Oh,
Dick
no,
Masterson.
Oh, Brett, you
and the
have
only
no
thing-
idea.
The only thing that Mark Wade has over Maddox at this moment is that he hired a more reputable lawyer than Maddox did.
Yeah, that's debatable now.
Lie on his record and have
Hey,
to pass a
Brett.
breathalyzer to use his car.
Brett
What?
found out on Mark Zaid's YouTube account that he has public liked videos, and they're all about the Disney girls.
Yeah.
So he might be.
Like,
So he might be a creep.
and all those.
Yes. A pedophile, perhaps. And boy, will it be bad if it turns out that Mark Wade is one too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I made a.
Oh, then it. If that's the case, then Mark Wade is probably going to end up a bigger fool than Maddox.
Tweet I made this morning in regards to that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Where's Chris Hansen when you need him?
Where is he, by the way?
He's watching my. He is watching my comic. Apparently. No, not really. It's a in joke, guys.
I found a gift. I'm going to respond to you with, Tank.
Jesus, you're not kidding. Mark Zaid looks like a creep.
Yep.
Not only does he look like a creep, he's acting like one. And
Oh boy.
but see, that's one thing I'm trying to bring across. That this whole thing just brings full circle. You have to be a person who's allegedly morally bankrupt to defend somebody like Mark Wade.
Yeah. I can't believe it, but Kevin Landau actually comes out looking better than Mark Zaid, and that's only just because Maddox was such an idiot.
Can I just point out something? The government has lost lawsuits against with Mark Zaid, so
Allegedly.
it's just I kind of get the feeling that there's going to be let's just say that if Mark Wade loses, we might be seeing a lot more lawsuits against the government now.
Well, let's put it this way. The thing that I'm more interested in is if, say, Mr. MW loses, right?
Uh-huh.
And it comes out that his lawyer is probably somebody of ill repute. I foresee wholesale cleanouts, and I do mean flamethrower cleanouts of a certain company that everybody currently likes to rag on.
Look, it's going to definitely be
horrible comics.
what's going to happen is going to be James Gunn times 10.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
Yes, that's pretty much what's going to happen, I think. That might happen, might not. But still.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, like, well, they're probably already getting enough of a PR disaster with Mark Wade being just having a temper tantrum. As funny.
No.
Temper tantrum, lawsuit, attacking another company.
Being racist against Asians.
And apparently also being racist.
I didn't want to be that on the nose, okay? I didn't want to be that on the nose. But as it also turned out, he also took on another I hate using these terms, man. It's fucking, we're just people. But he pretty much wrecked another person of color's career or something.
Yeah.
He's such a racist. It's funny how he thinks he's a superhero.
He's a full-blown racist, and that's the thing. It's like, really? Come on, guys. Enough of the freaking labels. Really? I mean, we're all just people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
But enough of that. Let's not dwell on that. That's not.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just look. Let's put it this way. Whatever Zach does to Mark Waid, he has it coming. Let's just leave it at that. He has it coming.
Yeah. So carrying on.
Yeah. Some of us glow it. So Mike Whitaker in the chat says some of us glow in the dark. We don't know what that's a reference to.
Yep. So, how long do you think that it'll be until Chris Hansen is persuaded to come out of retirement for a new To Catch a Predator?
I don't know.
With all these pedophiles coming out of the woodwork.
Oh, I think he's going to have a very lucrative career.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all it took for Chuck Norris to come out of retirement was a bunch of memes.
That is true.
Would he be the first meme?
I think he's the
jokes.
Don't know.
Well,
but he's
certainly not the first memes, but he's the first retired celebrity to come out of retirement due to memes.
That's true. And the funny thing is that he looks like the youngest member of the Expendables in the second movie.
Yeah, that's amazing. But yeah, he's aged the best out of all of them. Although that might be to the fact that he wasn't jacked up on roids.
That is also true.
Yeah,
I think if anybody would have looked great from that era, it would have been Bruce Lee, where he's still with us.
Yeah, but based on the theories about his death, it's that his diet was something that didn't allow his body to form any kind of, I guess, temperance towards headache medicine or something like that.
Yeah, that's the problem with theories. None of it will ever be proved.
Yeah. I mean, there's also the Chinese mafia.
Which I think is more likely he was actually probably poisoned or assassinated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people think there's there was like a revenge hit done on Brandon. No, that's an accident.
Yeah, accidents happen, but people like to like to make things seem more like there's something behind the scenes.
Like there's a conspiracy. Yeah. Yeah. Look, with Bruce, probably a hit. I'm willing to buy that. What happened with Brandon was just an unfortunate accident.
Yep. The funny thing is, that new Bruce Lee movie wasn't a hit because it had nothing to do with the family.
Really?
Yeah, the family said, don't see this movie. It has nothing to do with us. We didn't authorize it.
Interesting.
Yep. It was just a film. It was just a studio trying to make money off of Bruce Lee's name.
I could see that happening. Matt, you are a font of knowledge when it comes to the inner workings and stuff of Hollywood and movies and stuff. I'm fascinated each time you start talking about these things.
Well,
because I'm sitting here as like, fuck, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Well, the thing is, I've been thinking about a lot of stuff I want to do in terms of writing. So the best way to go and make my own show, learn how to do things in that way. I'll know.
Cool.
Yeah. So I know how to run my own show without any kind of interference from the studio, which is basically go to Warner Brothers. because apparently WB does not care about doesn't care enough. It doesn't care about their TV shows unless they're not making money. If they're making money, they're fine with you doing your own stuff.
That might be a problem because if I was gonna get a Changeling cartoon off the ground, it would not make money.
I wouldn't say that because you've seen how anime works well, how as well as the animated adaptations of superhero comics.
True.
I think that you could get a good animated series out of Changeling.
I'd have to find a studio first.
Well, I've actually been talking to some film students about the idea of putting one together and maybe doing projects based off of indie comics.
We have floated the idea about trying if we could get Wicked to grow enough, we could like make a whole imprint for that.
Yeah, which I'm going to talk to them about that. The idea of that, but thing is, I think it'd be better if I were to have this be an independent studio, simply because there's going to be comics that I think are cool and would approach that aren't Wicked properties.
I see your point. Yeah.
For example, Rags.
I'd make Brian very happy.
All we have to do is get Liz on board to voice Regina.
There's a good question. Would Liz have to? Can Liz act, or could she get by just being herself?
I don't know. I think it all depends on how much of the character is Liz.
As far as I know, Regina in his appearance was inspired by Liz. I do not know about personality because all I got to go off with, because where Liz is concerned, all I've got to go off of is her Twitter and one conversation I sat in on over Discord.
Yeah.
Not in. For the record, when I was in that conversation, she was actually very nice.
Yeah, I think she's probably going to be a lot more different than Regina, because Regina is suffering from PTSD.
Like I said, that's just the issue. That's the issue. Can Liz act, or is Regina someone she could get by just being herself?
Honestly, though, I think that Brian would make enough changes to the animated character so that Liz could voice her.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, yeah. The real question is, can she act? Back then. And well, nothing against Liz. I just don't know if she can act. Is all.
Yeah, no, it's no problem. There's a lot of independent productions that don't have actual actors.
Well, it's just more on coming at this because a lot of people think voice acting is just being able to throw your voice around. No, you have to be able to act too.
Yeah, I agree. But I do think that's. I don't think there's anyone that Brian's going to want other than Liz to voice Regina.
I know, but dude, you have to do what's right. You have to do what's right by the project.
Let's put it this way: we don't know until it happens.
Yep.
That's just the best way to go about it.
Sometimes people surprise you.
Look, hey, okay, let's put it this way: if Liz can act, I will renege everything I said. Is all.
That's why I do not put any sort of stock in anything until I've seen it happen.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just...
But
Yeah.
maybe it becomes big enough that changing will have your Dreamcast.
Doubt it, because I doubt it.
Once they look at your Twitter.
But those Mega Man bad voice acting still has its appeal, I hear. Yeah, but those are ironic though. You can only enjoy those ironically. You guys know those Mega Man cutscenes with the really bad voice acting?
Yep.
Yes, unfortunately, I do.
Yeah, like those can only be enjoyed ironically.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
as for myself, I don't actually ever see my story as a movie property. I don't, because a movie would not do it justice.
Yeah,
Because it would be
that's
too
the
forced.
problem.
And
That's the
anytime some,
It's
yeah,
the problem when you adapt a book to a film, something gets lost.
Yep.
I would say something more along the lines of a HBO budget TV show would be better.
Oh, more
But my
likely.
ideal thing, what I would probably love the most, is if somebody like say CD Projekt Red, when they're not stepping in minefields the whole time, adapts it to a game. That is probably what I would like the most.
I'm going to reserve opinion mainly because Cyberpunk 24. Okay, I'm 2077. Is it? I'm getting confused. I might be getting confused with Blade Runner.
No, it is 2077. You are right.
Okay. And when that comes out, I think I'll have a more concrete opinion about how they'll be able to do your story.
The only reason I look at them is because all the other dev houses will probably chop and change way too much.
Yeah, and BioWare is going down the hill.
See, originally they are the guys I would have went for, but if I could have. But yeah, we all know what happened recently.
Yep, and you go to Bethesda. Well, you go.
Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, and you go to Bethesda for open world and bugs.
Yeah, I'm lucky that my aspirations for a Changeling game are much more modest. Like I said, I want it done in like a 16-bit Zelda game.
Yeah, no, for me it has to be a third-person action RPG.
I think
purely the reason so you can see the armor and everything happen. So with BioWare, I'm willing to give them the benefit of a doubt because I'm waiting for Anthem. It's probably going to suck, but I still want to try it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. That's how it's going to end up. But EA's a killer of studios.
Yeah, look what they did to Origin.
Yeah.
Westwood Studios.
Although I am happy that those games are coming back in the forms of Shroud of the Avatar and Star Citizen.
I'm still implying that Star Citizen is ever going to happen.
Oh, it's going to happen.
It's already, dude. Sorry, that is the one thing that. So the one thing that I'd like to draw parallels to, a lot of big games, big budget games and everything. Look, there's evidence to suggest that things aren't as rosy as they are saying and everything. But big budget games like those, you usually don't hear anything about after they've been 4 or 5 years in development, and then you only hear about the game once it's shown off at E3, and then 2 more years in the can, and then, oh, look at this, we got a new game. The problem with Star Citizen is because it's crowdfunded, and the process has been, for the most part, 100% transparent. That is why it's different. Because you're actually seeing how the sausage is made, as it were.
Yeah, and I also think that the developer is, I can trust Chris Roberts based on his record with Wing Commander. Well, I think he's going in over his head on certain aspects of the
Feature creep.
game. What?
Feature creep is a definite concern.
Yeah.
I mean, procedurally generated planets.
Mike Whitaker in the chat
Red
by
flag
says,
number one.
until we see the gender non-binary robot suits.
Yeah, that is true. The whole thing with Star Citizen is it's out there, it's playable already. I mean, every single release, if you're a backer, you get your hands on it. It's not like it's nebulously held. Look, here it is. Here's what we got, but you can't actually do anything with it. Every time there's a release or an update, if you have backed the title, if you have bought a ship or the game, you have access to it.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
So I played it during the free weekends, but there's the whole problem that we usually have this side.
Your city.
Slow, stupid connection.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's fun using Newtonian physics to slide your ship around and blast your opponent.
It's sad. I guess it sounds cool, but it's just like Star Citizen. My take is just that I'll believe Star Citizen is going to happen when I see it on the shelf. Okay.
Well, it's not going to be on shelf, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, and the other thing that I like about it is their ship designs are so cool.
Oh yeah.
Even the alien vessels, like the Xi'an vessels, they still look like they could conceivably exist. They don't look like a caterpillar in space.
Yeah, they're just.
They look practical, is what you mean.
Yeah, there's a lot that they just look like Wing Commander if it was made today.
Yeah.
Which would not be a bad thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Why is that?
If we could get a proper development studio with today's engine and everything behind a game like Wing Commander or a proper MechWarrior game, it'd sell. It really would sell because it's something different. And the market is there. I mean, just look at how much money they raked in with.
Oh yeah.
Crowdfunding. It's insanity.
And there are people who want a PC game that pushes the envelope of what a PC can do.
That is true.
We haven't had one of those. We haven't had that since the original Crisis in 2000.
Wasn't that what Crisis was for, though?
Like I said, we haven't had that since 2007 with the original Crisis.
Yeah.
And that's another good video that I watched recently. Digital Foundry did a video where they tested the original Crisis, and in some cases, it still brought this very powerful modern system to crippling to its knees, not due to a bad engine, just literally due to the sheer detail that the engine.
Is that demanding?
No, because the engine is that good.
Yeah, a lot of PC games are just basically games that are ported from console.
Yeah, I know that, but it's just I know that. It's just like I'm surprised. We're talking about the original Crisis. When did that come out again?
2007.
It's a 10-year-old game and it still is that demanding?
Because of the level of detail. I'm going to find the video and just link it for you so you can watch it when you get a chance.
Fuck. That's amazing.
And it's a very, very good in-depth analysis. There you go.
Damn.
And I recently replayed it. It is still a fun game. It falls apart at the end like everybody else says when the aliens show up and your nice open world sandbox becomes a corridor shooter. But it's still fun. It's better than anything else they're putting out these days.
A lot of what's being put out these days are generally rehashes of games that they saw working in the past. There's really no.
And
they
then
don't
there's a
really
whole
make any.
Yeah.
They don't take
Probably
risks.
the stupidest thing. Yeah, they don't take risks. And then you have the absolute stupidity that Activision pulled with the latest Call of Duty.
Oh boy.
No single player. I mean,
Yeah.
come the fuck on.
They probably saw all the money that EA was not making off of Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of unfortunate is that the big studios can't really afford to take risks, though.
No, they can. They can. They just won't.
Yep.
Because investors. But literally, they are 100% capable of taking risks.
Yeah, they've got the budget. They just don't have the. They just
don't
have
have the
leash on
vision.
them. I think Andromeda could have been a better game if it wasn't so stupid. They weren't so stupid about development.
The problem with Andromeda was there were too many factors going against them in terms of the development. Firstly, they moved the title over to the B studio, essentially, the B team. Literally the B team, if you understood everything. If you watched all the videos in terms of, and this is one thing, one time I will, and you will never hear me say this again. The investigation done by the guy from Kotaku, he actually did a good job. The internal politics and all that stuff that happened at BioWare's Edmonton studio, I believe, was it Montreal? It's one of those two.
They're both.
Edmonton.
Isn't BioWare's main studio in Montreal?
Yeah, Edmonton studio. Then that's where, if you hear and watch everything, you find out that there was so much internal politics and normal politics. Everything literally delaying developments. It's no surprise that the game actually came out as bad as it did.
Yeah. They had some interesting ideas, such as having the player character be twins so that you could choose which ones.
That is an angle I enjoyed, but utilized.
But
Yeah.
what? But what, Tank?
It was literally underutilized. The twin is fucking incapacitated for half the game. Only plays a small role at the end of the game, and then it ends.
Yep.
It's like a missed opportunity, bad writing once again.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Wow, this is actually now you have that uncomfortable realization where you realize Dragon Age 2 actually did something better.
Yeah, honestly, I liked Dragon Age 2.
I did as well. It was actually good. I liked it. If you took a look at it, not as Dragon Age 2, more like the one guy on one forum said, Dragon Age Adventures in Kirkwall.
Yep.
If you looked at it as more of a spin-off side title than a direct sequel, I could overlook a lot of its flaws. And I did. And I enjoyed the game. I thought it was fun for what it was. It was great.
And to be honest, it tells you how much of a character guy I am, as I enjoyed how you could shape the personality of Hawk through your dialogue selections.
Yeah, you literally could make that version of Hawk your character. And then what made it even better was when they brought the character over to Dragon Age Inquisition, that carried over. So you had your version, your character, you literally created and crafted in the second game, carries over to the third one, which was great.
Yep.
I guess, but we can all agree the dialogue wheel, not a good choice. Not a good design choice.
No, that I had no problem with that. Honestly, I'm not that fussed about it. A bad design choice was Fallout 4.
Oh God.
That's a bad choice.
Okay, Tank. Why does a dialogue wheel work in a BioWare game and not in Fallout?
Well, the BioWare game actually has more options. For a start, you could go with your flat-out response, and you can investigate more. The by Bethesda version in Fallout 4, once you made your choice, that's it. There is no exploring more conversation. Once your choice is made, that's where you go. Hell, even Alpha Protocol, which was bugged to hell, did it better than Fallout 4.
The thing about Bethesda is that they're not much of a story company.
And that's sad because you could craft some good stories if they were given the proper writers for, not me, for stuff like Skyrim.
Yeah, they could have done a DLC that followed up on the war with the elves.
Which is actually, I think, that what they're holding out for the next Elder Scrolls coming out. Got to keep that sequel train rolling.
To be honest, I probably wouldn't put past them, but on the other side, I also wouldn't be surprised if it led to nothing.
Probably. But that aside, I'm actually more interested in their new title, Starfields.
Yeah,
It's probably one of the worst names they could have chosen. It's not the worst names, but definitely one of the most boring names they could have chosen.
Yeah, one of the most.
And that reveal was so pathetic. But hey, it's a reveal. It's a teaser.
Yeah. For all we know, though, this might not even be the final title. The final title they go with. It could. They could change it later down the line. Something more interesting.
Yeah, like the Overstrike Fuse name change and entire game tone shift and everything that EA did with that game, or forced on the developer. I would have liked more if it was Overstrike because it looked fun. It looked funny.
Yeah.
Instead, they turned it into Land Corridor Shooter number 11 million.
Yeah, well, that's what, like we said, it's all about not being able to take risks.
Yes, and my personal pet peeve, focus testing.
Oh, God.
No, I'm not going to go in there. I've ranted numerous times about focus testing and why that's shit.
Yeah, I can see why. I don't disagree necessarily because it's like, I mean, I'm all for like having test audiences to know what's working and what doesn't work, but focus testing,
that's just stupid.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to sell it to an audience that doesn't exist.
Yeah, pretty much. And speaking of which, that reminded me of something that I thought was rather funny. So you know how everyone, and this is going back to Star Trek, of course, but you know how everyone praises Star Trek Deep Space Nine's writing?
Are you going to poo-poo who's Deep Space Nine again?
No, I'm just going to poo-poo the writers because they thought it was a good idea to have Kirk get shot in the back for Star Trek Generations.
That sounded like a good idea on paper, I'm sure.
Yeah, but
I didn't actually watch that.
Well, you got a character who's considered to be a legend, and you've seen, and basically everyone's watched the. Everyone who's going to watch Generations has already seen the movies and the TV shows of Kirk, so that's going to be a letdown for them. Captain Kirk gets shot in the back.
Oh yeah, that's
the big ending.
Yeah. So this just in. Jawbreaker's Lost Souls officially closed.
Yep.
The in demand has ended with a total take of $404,913.
So almost $500,000.
Almost.
Yep.
One I backed without something I'll actually get a reward for because I only backed for like $10.
Well, in a way, backing Jawbreakers back then was making a point of customer service will sell comics.
Mm-hmm.
Being a professional will sell you comics.
And we can expect now that it's coming out things are we can expect to see some changes.
What kind of changes?
I'm holding out any sort of
Speculation.
yeah. You guys know my thoughts in private. What I think was going to happen, so I'm just holding those little cards close to my chest.
Let's just say. So for those at home listening, expect the landscape of comics to change very drastically.
Yep.
Not in the way that people thought it would.
Nope. Then again, I think there have been a lot of shared expectations anyway lately.
Yeah. Yep. Moving on before we moving on. So Matt. Okay, so Matt,
Yes?
as far as we know, you're sort of putting McKinnon Chronicles on the back burner and focusing more on Mythics now.
Well, I'm going to be doing half and half. I'm still running McKinnon Chronicles scripts.
Mm-hmm.
But because we're going to be doing our shared universe, I've decided to bring up Mythics as well for it. I'm still going to... I'm going to definitely expect to see some Mason McKinnon art coming from Michael Santos, like you were with Althea. So that'll be awesome.
Here's a good question. Here's a question I got. So, what is do you have sort of like a release schedule worked out for either one, or is it is Mythics going to be more regular, whereas McKinnon Chronicles gets more of an irregular schedule?
Well, since Mythics is being done by an artist who's not open for page commissions, but opened it because she had a fun time doing the 5 pages, I'd have to say that they're both probably going to be irregular at the beginning because she's just really busy. And also has to deal with whether or not my Patreon will pick up any more than just one.
Yeah, same here. I mean, okay, not same, similar. Because progress on Changeling is going to be very slow. But I do expect it to pick up when 2019 rolls around.
2019 is a new year, and I'm hoping that by then I'll have more people signed up. But at this point, what
I was going to
say,
I
think the biggest problem that everybody has is, remember, where are we? We are literally at the tail end of some of the largest crowd funds for comics that are now ending. People are now gearing up for Christmas. End of the year, silly season. So I think bank balances are a little bit tender, as it were.
Well, well, dude, I'm actually thinking about just dropping crowdfunding altogether. Let me put it this way. I am paying both Ginger and Victor $60 a piece for 1 page. That's not a lot of one. Now let's
just a quick one there. Don't shout your rates over a stream.
Yeah.
Don't. I don't even have artists, and I know that. Damn it.
The critical. Why? Okay, never mind. Okay.
You might.
It's just a little thing of professionalism, because remember, John Malin said it as well in another stream. The rate you are paying them is not necessarily the rates that they'll be asking somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay, look. What I'm paying. Okay, I'm paying Ginger and Victor a price I can afford it this time. I can at least get 2, maybe 3 pages done a month with what I make.
That's perfect. So that's the thing. The whole thing that I know from speaking with Brian as well is it's slow in the start, but as you start proving that you've got a product, you are doing something, and you can start showing some sort of progress, it'll start picking up.
Yeah.
It took him 2 years to get this thing off the ground, and he persevered, and look where he is now.
Yeah. I guess about
So
the only
remember, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah. And
And I think the sad thing is crowdfunding and the massive success has painted the vision for a lot of people, unfortunately, that it's a shoot and scoot, a one and done, and boom, success. It's not.
Yeah, I know. That's why the reason why I'm dropping Indiegogo is just because the market's too crowded, and with what I'm paying Victor and Ginger, I can do this out of pocket initially, and just have the Patreon
that's
build.
Great because
have the Patreon build as it goes.
Once the Patreon builds to a level, you can start essentially, in air quotes, paying them a proper monthly salary, as it were.
Yeah.
Another thing that I've been doing, based on something that Brian said, was that Patreon will force you to do work on your project. People will flock to your Patreon if you've got a steady stream of updates.
That's the thing. I got to get into the habit
once
of.
You see,
that's really nothing to update with.
Nothing up to the update with. See, that's the thing. It takes time. You need to build it.
Yep.
Why am I on Twitter already? Even though I've got literally nothing to show. I'm building an audience. I'm trying to get people invested and interested with whatever I do. I mean, what does Brian do half the day? He shit posts. He talks. He's engaging with people. And in between, he teases stuff. And that's what I try to do as well. I'll probably be teasing more once I've got more stuff going. But at the end of the day, that's the thing. You're building an audience. And once you start getting that audience invested in your product with everything, as you go along, you'll start to be, once the Patreon picks up, you'll be able to start doing cosplays with your character. You'll be able to start commissioning art pieces, different things to keep people invested. Once the pages start coming out, you can show people the works in progress. You can show them the roughs. You can show them what have you.
Yeah. It's
going to take time.
Yeah, I get that. I'm not upset about that. I'm not upset. Like, I pretty much get, like, why do you think I decided? Do you think I would have decided to stop? Do you think I would have decided to drop the crowdfunding option if I didn't think I could take the slow route?
No, I don't think you would have.
Yeah.
It's just the thing that I'm looking at a lot of other guys. I mean, the one comic that I actually wanted to see coming out, but unfortunately, I think because of the time they launched and the asking price was a little bit rough, was you remember Sway Rain?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. They literally launched in the middle of October with an asking tag of $15K. Now, look, the art was amazing, what they showed off. The art was flipping amazing. And the writing, the lettering, and everything that they showed off was good. But unfortunately, they admitted to it themselves as well. Unfortunately, the time they launched and the price were things that literally, unfortunately, screwed them over. And they also admitted that they probably should be spending a little bit more time getting more people invested in the product first. So I can see that a lot of people are realizing that they're going to have to spend more time, building an audience, getting everything in place, and going from there. You have to build the infrastructure first before you can get everything else off the ground.
So
it's not the most fun thing to think about.
Are you implying that all these crowdfunded Comicsgate projects that certain people's whose names certain people I perhaps share a name with shouted to the moon and back that they all got 100% funded and that's a somehow indicative success are just going to be flash in the pans?
That is what I'm implying, yes. That is literally what I'm implying, because what I'm saying here is, unfortunately, if you are a smaller name and you don't get that bump that most people are unfortunately hoping for, it's not going to happen unless you start building. You have to build it, and it's not going to work if you try and rely on other people's fan bases to do it. You have to build your own fan base. You have to.
Yeah, pretty much.
A lot of us will be sharing fans across the board somewhere.
And also, as much as I like this guy, dude was being a freaking cheerleader there.
Yes, he was being a cheerleader there, but remember, he's part of the original, the OG Comic Gate project.
Yeah, I get. Yeah.
So can you blame him?
I can't.
No.
But I can still say. But I can.
But you can still give constructive criticism.
But when I see a spade, I call it a spade. I don't pretend it's anything else.
If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, acts like a duck, you can be damn sure I'm going to call it a fucking duck.
Exactly. And, dude, you were being a cheerleader. Put your pom-poms away.
Fun times. So, anything else that's... that's the other thing that I'm happy that quite a few books got funded. Earthbound, Asami, Children of Rusu, I'm happy that got funded. The one that I wish would get funded, but sadly won't, and we all know which one that is. It's the eating utensil.
Oh, for now. No, but
Chuck deserves so much better.
But you know what?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because he has plans and he's moving forward regardless of whether or not this project gets off the ground on Indiegogo. So it's not like he's all broken up and everything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear it in the streams. He's got backup plans in place. So
yeah, I know. I mean, like Chuck, because I know Chuck's talked about how this isn't the first time he's done this.
Yeah. You know what's funny about crowdfunding these days?
Mm-hmm.
It's that people assume that that you can get the tens of thousands of dollars from someone else's boost, when in reality, you can do that. It was possible for you to do that later on in your crowdfunding. I've seen crowdfunded comics on Kickstarter go up to $17,000 on their 7th issue. So it takes time for that kind of thing to happen. And it's much more rewarding like that because you know you made your own fan base.
Which is the one thing that I'm literally looking forward to doing eventually.
Yeah.
As for whether or not I'll eventually do a graphic novel, I don't know.
It depends on how well you do, I guess.
Well, you know, I do think when you get around to publishing the novellas, you'd be doing yourself a lot of good.
That's coming 2019.
Yourself a lot of good if you had like character sketches like in the back or something.
That is what I'm looking at doing. So the whole idea, a lot of these things these were pretty much ideas that I had running through it as a stretch goal that I envisioned was to take the massive lore document and everything that I've built up and still expanding on, get illustrations done and release that as a stretch goal or as a part of a higher end backing tier or something like that.
That'll be a good idea.
Not a bad idea, but yeah, not gonna happen anytime soon.
No, but who knows? It might happen sooner than you think.
Oh, here we go.
What happened?
What did you say?
You on Twitter? He's doing a very, very specific fan art.
Oh.
Oh, wait a minute. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I already saw it on my timeline.
Yeah.
What happened?
You'll see.
I just
You'll see once you click Matt.
Oh.
Yep. Where did I put that picture? That picture's missing. Damn it.
Mike in the chat says he's also working on writing a novel himself.
What genre, buddy?
I think he might be in a different time zone because it seems like his like every time he posts in the chat, he's a little behind in our conversation. He says sci-fi hard boiled. So like little bit of is it like what was that? What's that book series The Expanse is based off? I don't know.
The Expanse?
No, it's based off a different book series. It's not called The Expanse. Whatever. Whatever. What I remember is it's like a bit of science fiction, little bit of Pacific. He's in the same time zone as me.
So he's probably got a bit of connection problems then.
Okay, then. So, like, when you say it's sci-fi hard-boiled, we talking like hard science fiction or science fiction with a bit of noir in it? Think Sin City with sentient robots. Okay, so yeah.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, that actually does sound pretty cool. Yeah, so yeah, sci-fi with noir. That is pretty cool. That actually is pretty cool. I mean, like, yeah, it's basically what Blade Runner was.
Pretty much. But with a Sin City angle to it.
Yeah, it's actually got a look. Yeah, it's actually kind of now I'm imagining what Blade Runner would have been like had Frank Miller written it.
Oh boy.
Grim, gritty.
And for the record, I'm talking Frank Miller when he started writing Sin City. Not what Frank Miller turned into.
Well, Frank Miller went through some rough times. Trusted people he shouldn't have trusted. But at least he's able to make his comeback. True.
And also, but more on the bad sleep side, not doing the dystopian.
I think every young adult author has done that to death.
Thanks a lot, Suzanne Collins. You plagiarist.
Ooh, that should be good. Professor Geek reviews Blue Mamba.
Yeah, I stand by what I said. Hunger Games plagiarizes Battle Royale. I will stand by that.
You're not wrong.
Well, what is it? Yeah. Mouth fail, brain fail. It is essentially Battle Royale, the movie.
Except Battle Royale was good.
Yeah.
And well shot.
Take two. But can you really? I mean, what's the biggest problem with? Let's break this down. What is the biggest problem with young adult authors these days?
They're well, for starters, they're inserting content that is not appropriate for that genre.
Mary Sue.
Also that. But also, I think that
we'll start at the exact problem: the perfect fucking protagonist.
Although I'll give Suzanne Collins this much, Katniss is a much better protagonist compared to, say, Bella Swan. But That's damning with faint praise.
You know,
For the record, Mike, I'm a young adult author. Changeling is a young adult comic.
Yes.
well, you're not.
But
You're a young adult comic creator, not a young adult author.
Is there really that much of a difference?
You're thinking visually when you're writing.
True. And also, my book is much better because, well, for one, Maeve is about as far from a Mary Sue as you can get.
I remember watching a clip from watching the trailer for the Riff Tracks version of the last Twilight movie. And one of the jokes was, see, kids, it's easy having a teenage pregnancy. You get a free house and everything turns out well for you.
It does not.
Oh, I know.
no, it doesn't. But see, that's the problem. These things are written like propaganda pieces yet again.
Oh yeah, they definitely are.
Especially the part where, especially when they're lying to girls saying that their boyfriends will listen to their poetry.
God damn, yeah. And also, like, this was a take Blake Northcott had over on Twitter a while back about how the language is too graphic and there's too much talk about sex and sexuality, and these things are frankly not appropriate for this kind of genre.
Nope. But you're dealing with people who don't people very well.
Also true. But yeah, a lot of young adult novels are written like propaganda pieces. I mean,
yep.
How do I put this? I mean, like, when you get right down to it, Hunger Games is actually when young adult gets advertised as mature versus books categorize young adult, but they actually have maturity in them.
It's really funny how anything that's not categorized as mature, that generally has better content than the ones that are seen as mature.
That is true. I mean, like, I think I can. Like, you guys ever seen like Once Upon a Time in America?
No.
It
rings a bell.
It's a Francis Ford Coppola movie that has James Woods and Robert De Niro in it.
Like I said, rings a bell. I can't recall.
Well, I put it, the kids in that movie act more mature than a lot of adults do today.
Yeah. Sometimes. What's up?
Brian just saw the tweet from Ori doing the fan art.
Of course he did.
He can't back out now.
Yeah, Brian. Regina has become your prison.
Oh my goodness, it's just crazy. Somebody posts something and Sixth Sense, he's there.
Plot twist, he's been dead the entire
You know
time.
what he'll say? I'm just not
He's got
gonna say
Google
it.
Alerts set to ragged. I guarantee it.
I don't doubt it.
He's got. Anytime someone talks about rags, he's got a Google alert. I guarantee it.
Possibly. Who knows? But yeah. So what could I possibly say about my story? The main cast gets put through a lot of
The main cast gets put through a lot of what?
Yeah, you just got
bad shit.
It's like it's trying to stop you.
Yeah, censored.
They get it. They have a rough time of it. Okay.
Hey, I actually heard
I'm-
that, so
I'm
Are
not
we
kind with my main cast. I'm not kind
Are
at
we
all.
okay? Now you said you're not gonna go Game of Thrones route. How about
No, no, no.
Berserk Eclipse arc?
I have to watch that again or read that again.
If I remember, only Casca and Guts survived it.
My main cast survives, all 6 of them, in various fashions.
of course that doesn't ring any strike any alarms.
Let's just put it this way. There's a galactic war going on.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think people are going to get through that?
Not well.
Yes.
Oh, so in the grim dark future, there is only war.
No, in the grimdark future, normal people suffer with fucking consequences to their psyches.
So you're not gonna have them be these badasses who do all this amazing shit and come out of it unscathed?
When they're up against the normal stormtroopers, as it were, of the main antagonist, as it were, they essentially use vat-grown troops and issue them with mass-produced weapons and armor, which is literally like, yeah, here you go. You're essentially a literal automaton clone that just gets pre-programmed orders to go into the field. Their main mode of engaging the enemy is overwhelming them with hordes upon hordes of these drones, and then once the enemy is suitably tired out, then their actual elite troops come in and sort everything else out.
So it's all a war of attrition, basically.
That is how they fight, yeah. Now, the problem is, because how it's written in universe, it's not like a case of you're going to run out of ammunition. It's more a case of after constant fighting, people are just going to get too tired to fight.
Yeah, I can see that's happening. Just wave after wave after wave of basically
Yes,
what seems to be an unlimited amount of soldiers.
That is the idea. So when faced with normal troops like these, yes, my characters will seem like badasses. But when they come up against an actual proper opponent, they're going to have to fight for that victory.
Yep.
And it doesn't always go their way.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Look,
pretty ingenious.
I'm just literally trying to establish a world and a story that could be easily distinguished from anything else. Because
Oh yeah.
sci-fi, to a degree, is a very overdone genre, to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Mike says the universe in my book post our solar system wars. So there was a massive solar system. So there was a system-wide war in his book, and it's in the fallout of it. You know, there's not enough stories written in like a post-war world. You guys ever notice that?
No, that's why
Yep.
it kind of just like that. Kind of
It
just
just
went out though.
it just got no Mike's comment just got me thinking, like, how many stories take place in a post-war world?
The only one I can think of is Babylon 5. But they did it in a way that
Spoil
was
this, though.
pre-war, then actual war, and then post-war.
So that was
I've got my whole idea is, so when the story opens up, it's kind of like a Cold War going on. You know, it's the tensions are there, but there's not an actual fight.
So we're just waiting for the. So we're just essentially waiting for the
fireworks to kick off.
Yeah, like essentially waiting for the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand.
Seems that way.
You'll see it when you read it. Eventually. Next year sometime. No, it's coming next year. That is the date. 2019 is the launch year.
Just be glad I didn't give the day, the exact day. Otherwise, you're going to be freaking out.
No, yeah, still quite a bit that needs doing.
Yep.
I need to finish off with a big finish here. I'm busy with that now. It's a nice moment of light and levity to break up the unending dread and darkness.
Mm-hmm. Which is definitely needed.
I try to inject that everywhere. It's another thing that I'm trying to distinguish from getting away from.
Yeah. Actually, here's something I want to talk about. I get, like you said, like we know you're drawing a lot from 40K as inspiration, but
not just 40K. I'll draw inspiration from Mass Effect, from Halo.
Yeah, here's what I want to get though. I mean, like Tekken 40K seems to follow more rule of cool, whereas you seem to want to make it more practical, so to speak, right?
That is what I'm trying to go for. Yes.
So, like in other words, like all these armored suits and shit, this is stuff that could conceivably, like, it's science fiction, but it could exist maybe if the tech was there, right? That a good way of
that
putting
is
it?
what I'm envisioning. Yeah. So the whole idea is it's not going to be a suit that you would have to have fucking advanced surgery and crap to be able to wear or become a transhuman badass, as it were. The whole idea of the suits are that to get into one of the armor suits, I'm going to use the L5X, which I've already shown some art of on Twitter. The idea is you put on a neural link suit, which allows you to better control the armor, and then from there on, you use it. So it is, and each armor has a different function. So L5X is essentially a walking tank. It's not very fast. It's not maneuverable. It doesn't have jump jets, but it's got some of the thickest armor plate that you can have. And then it's got a weapon that is designed specifically to be used with it. It's called the M227 assault cannon, nicknamed the Retribution. It follows a volley gun principle, fires. It's 4 heavy machine guns firing 15mm rounds, so with like a rail gun, but with propellants as well. 1,000 rounds per minute per machine gun, as it were. So it's more like an auto cannon, really. And with the rail assisted barrels, these things can even wreck battle tanks. That's why everything has to have shields. Now, if you say facing off against the main protagonists, bad guys. I'm just gonna keep it simple. Bad guys.
Good idea.
Ryan, their equipment is mass produced. They do in keeping with their doctrine of overwhelming the enemy with vast amounts of equipment and bullets and everything. It is
okay. Here's some
that is the main doctrine.
This is just something that's just running through my head. So basically, good guys, America. Bad guys, Soviet Union.
Well, not really. So you have.
I mean, I'm not saying they're space communists. I'm just saying, like, the Soviet Union's policy was that they went with stuff that was cheap and easy to mass produce.
Yeah, but this is where I'm really, really throwing things to the wind. So you have they have their standing forces, which are cheap and easy to maintain and produce, which is why they use vet-grown troops en masse. And they also have the elite corps of troops to do the actual work while the main enemy forces engage with their unending hordes of drones.
I don't know, just like, maybe it's just me. I'm just seeing considering that you said there, it opens up on a Cold War between the two factions. I'm just seeing like a lot of parallels.
It's not just two factions. It's all the planets, all the various planets.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm seeing like a lot of parallels between. I'm just seeing parallel. This is how my mind works, though. I see parallels and I gotta point them out.
I get it. I get that. But so all the planets are in a relative state of peace, as it were, with just one of the major power players making overt, aggressive moves.
So, in other words, this is like Europe prior to World War One.
Think more. Which one would be? I see everybody is pretty much ready to go at everybody's throats. So yeah, kind of like Europe, but there's no unifying force that would pretty much unify them. If shit were to go down, it's going to be pretty much every planet for themselves. Some zones will be neutral.
So no system of alliance. So no web of alliance.
No, there's no alliance. There's no unified system. Well, there's one. At most, they'll have a unified system, but there is no overarching government. There is no. There's no UNSC. There is no Galactic Empire. There is no.
I'm talking more like the Central Powers and the Allies.
No, it's pretty much each planet for themselves.
Man, that would have it makes you realize how much more catastrophic World War I would have been had that been the case. Like, dude, it was devastating enough as it was with the alliance shit. Imagine how much worse it would have been if it had been every country for themselves.
Yeah, so the whole idea is, the one thing that I'm running with is, so space travel, even with FTL, it still takes time. It's not like we are there.
Like
the way I'm writing it, yeah. So if you're going to say from Liberty to say New Canton, which is a neutral planet, but it's actually home of a mining conglomerate which provides fuel for the starships. That's their main export. It takes around a 2 to 3 week journey, depending on how fast you go with using your Wave Rider FTL system.
So kind of like that's kind of a thing in like the Expanse and even 40K, like space, like even FTL, doesn't like get you there instantly like it does in Star Trek or Star Wars.
Well, the Expanse doesn't really use FTL.
Really?
Yeah, they use rockets that go faster than what we do, but FTL is basically impossible until a spoiler event happens.
Yeah. So how mine works is it's not actually faster than light. The kind of travel that I'm envisioning, and this is where Halo and 40K play into the whole thing. So 40K, you go into the warp, and pretty much you have to be able to protect yourself. Otherwise, various nasty things happen to you. Like, oh, look, your ship's coming alive and killing you.
That's what the Astronomicon is for.
Yes. And Geller fields and things like that. The
I would think
Shaw Fujikawa slipstream drives.
Oh, I was going to suggest something like at a Stargate where they have like a massive warp gate.
So the idea is kind of like that. So the ships, the wave, when the system was originally developed in the story, in the backstory, as it were, actually, they originally had to use jump gates or jump ships. So if you had smaller vessels, they dock with this jump ship and it takes them through because of the massive power requirements that these drives had. So as technology progressed and they miniaturized them, they could start installing them onto smaller vessels as small as corvettes. So even corvettes could be long-range patrol craft because they're fast. So the idea is it creates a wormhole into a separate between space, as it were, between reality and whatever else is going on out there. And that is how they travel faster than light, but it's still not faster. It's only because it's in a different area where physics don't really work like they should, as our understanding goes, and therefore you travel faster.
And to be honest, like once you get into shit like that, like okay, I'm gonna actually shut up because it's gonna expose how little I know about quantum physics and shit.
I think I've already shown how much a little I understand as well.
Well, to be fair,
there's a very few that can understand that.
Fairness, Tank, you're not being Matt. Matt decided to be the guy who would go more hard science fiction. You're just using science fiction as tapestry.
Because it allows me to do fun things with a lot of the stuff I run with. So
yeah, so like I said, you can have you at least have an excuse for your ignorance. What's maths?
I already said that it's 50% hard sci-fi and 50% art.
Oh, that's the one. That's a nice thing. I mean, and we could always go into the more esoteric side of my story. Yeah. The fact that, yes, there are magic casters as well.
Sort of.
Well, they are.
Well, I guess when you get right down to it, psychers are basically mages.
They are. But my spellcasters aren't psychers. They practice a form of elemental magic. Yes, elementals, because it's like literally it's the easiest thing to explain.
Yeah,
true. And it's, I mean, like, you got at least material, and it's not like you can pull shit out of thin air. Or like with
nope, no, you can't. And this is another thing where I do actually do kind of adhere to science fiction and do proper science and everything. So let's say you're a fire mage, a pyre, P-Y-R-E, pyre.
Mm-hmm.
That is the fire mages. They can't cast that shit in space because there's no air for the fire to burn.
Yeah, they gotta have oxygen.
Yes. Same goes for, say, a tremor, earth mage. They can't fling sand and stone shards at you because, oh my goodness, you're in space and there's nothing around you for millions of kilometers. The only one that could conceivably work is a glacier, ice mage, because it's freezing fucking cold. And, oh yeah, you've got fluids in your body which can be frozen. But that's the limit. So there are things where I'm adhering to proper science and physics and things like that.
To a certain degree, having a little bit more science involved gives more creative ideas for how space spells will turn out.
No energy weapons. They get phased out like real quick because they don't work so well.
Well, laser weapons because they depend on heat, but particle-based weapons, I think those will work better.
Yeah.
Weaponry, the vessels in my story uses are ye bog standard railguns, mass drivers, and missiles and torpedoes.
And that's going to have a lot, and you're going to have a very accurate high targeting computer.
Every ship comes equipped with a combat AI. dedicated for combat. So larger vessels like heavy cruisers and battle cruisers actually have two artificial intelligences. One that is specifically only for gunnery, and the other one is dedicated to navigation and the rest of the systems on the ship. Artificial intelligence in my story is also where I took a few different takes on this. So normally in any story, an AI would be normally, like a tool or, so just some discarded thing. In my story, there was a event called the War in Heaven where artificial intelligence revolted, and there was essentially a quick flash in the pan war, like only 2 months. But the amount of damage inflicted by them was so great that at the end of the day, AIs were made citizens, so they actually have rights.
Wow. Okay, so it's not like in 40K or Dune where they just made AI illegal.
No, because the AIs are already so powerful and embedded in a lot of the systems. It would be pretty much a fact of total annihilation on all sides. Peace is maintained purely for the fact that the AIs would kill the people, and there are fail-safes in place that would detonate WMDs embedded on their AI cores on most of the planets, wiping them all out.
Jeez.
Yeah. So them having rights is as much a safety measure as it is to keep sanity.
Oh yeah. Definitely sounds like you got a reason for it. Not to be on anything over the military ships.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's also the whole thing. And they are only on the most advanced planets. They are smaller planets, mining planets, farm planets, things like that don't have AIs, and mainly because people have such an innate distrust of these super intelligent computers that they do not have them on their planets at all.
Yeah, it's something that I can definitely see happening. People don't trust AI right today who say that we're going to trust them hundreds or thousands of years down the line.
It just comes down to the whole fact of, okay, so we have these things that control, in some cases, on, say, if you go to, which planet would that be? If you go to, say, Planet Liberty, who require the maintenance and run of their atmospheric processes to keep the air clean and everything, and keep the water and everything clean, they need the AIs to run these systems, because these are very advanced pieces of technology that at this point in time in the story, there is no new technological developments. They from early 2752 in the story, there was a outright ban placed on new technological development. Which means to a point.
So they can't make any more AIs then, huh?
No new AI, no new armor, no new weapons, nothing. By the time the main story rolls around, most of the armor and ship designs and weapon designs are well over 200, 300 years old.
So technology hasn't really progressed then.
No. This is where 40K and Mass Effect play big roles in the inspiration. Mass Effect, the reason I mentioned that is, if you take a look at Mass Effect, but with the time the Citadel races and humanity discovered Prothean technology, they stopped advancing. Because this stuff was so advanced over everything they had.
They didn't need it.
Literally, all technological development to an extent stopped. And you only see the true extent of how badly that affected them when they started facing off against Cerberus, and when the Reapers actually started making themselves known fully. You actually saw at what disadvantage the Citadel races were. because they stopped developing weapons. They stopped developing technology because they relied on these highly advanced designs for so long. They actually stagnated, and it very, very nearly cost them everything.
That's actually a good point.
Stagnation is the enemy of mankind.
Yeah, but of course you don't want to. Of course, you don't want to go too far in the other direction where you're like Zinch and it's all change for the sake of change.
Yeah.
So that's a nice idea that I like running with, because it makes it interesting. So then you have a reason these weapons exist, and why there's no newer, more powerful things or smaller pieces of equipment available. So the one thing about the armor that I spoke about, the L5X and the accompanying weapon, they were phased out for some of the last designs to come out because of the massive maintenance costs and time involved in keeping these weapons running. Yes, it's a powerful weapon, but there's a drawback to it. So to the point where it's phased out by pretty much all mainline militaries. You'll only see the more well-known, more properly established mercenary groups using these. Now, the one final thing that I want to mention is currency. So I didn't have a lot of time to research, or did not time. I just didn't have the drive to research proper currency systems and things like how it would work and all that. So you have a currency system that is available on the main planets, which is the Platinum Credit. And from there on, if you go to, say, a smaller planet, a small mining planet, backwater, they don't actually rely on that at all. They rely on an all trade system. So let's say goods for services. They have a problem with, say, wild animals that need sorting out. If you got a gun and you can sort out the animals of, the alien animals of this world, they will provide you with food or whatever you need based on the services provided. Or if you could trade, say, medicine or whatever that you bring with you in your ship from one of the more developed planets like New Bretonia, then they could conceivably get stuff from that planet for the medicine or whatever else you need.
So it really has more of a bartering system then, huh?
Bartering system with a currency system attached to it, yes.
Hopefully it's a more stable currency than the euro.
Well, that's why everybody else has the wonderful bartering system in place, should the currency fail.
If only the Europeans listened.
Yeah. So there's no overall unifying government. You have thousands of colonized planets. And the story I focus on the main power players is like 5 major planets that form the most powerful militaries.
Mm-hmm.
And they're always at loggerheads. For the most part, it's a frigid peace, so they'll work together, but not really. It's like the knives are ready to come out at any one point in time, and then one of the planets also is dealing with a civil war. Yeah, fun times.
Yep. Civil wars are always fun. Don't you know that from what the celebrities are saying?
True. That is true.
But enough about my stuff.
Yeah.
I've rambled enough for tonight.
I guess about this point, like Matt and I could just talk a little about the world building we've done for our shared universe.
Yes, please do.
That's gonna be a lot of fun.
This was something that I kind of ended up that we sort of ended up realizing as we were going along. Our universe is very Jungian.
Very what?
Jungian.
Oh yeah.
As in Carl Jung?
Yep. For a moment I thought you said onion.
Very satiristic.
No. Well, okay, like Tank, how much do you know about Carl Jung?
Not nearly as much as I probably should.
Okay, are you at least familiar with his collective unconscious?
Can't say that I am.
Okay, so I'm not going to pretend I know a guy who knows more about this than I do, but what I do know about collective unconscious, it's that there, at least what Jung was getting at, was that this was something he kind of observed with all his archetypes, and he sort of so he sort of came up with this idea of the collective unconscious, that there was something that all humans were connected to, whether they knew it or not.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which is also interesting of how we realize that our worlds are very similar to each other without ever talking to each other beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, like we've got different realms. Like you have the gods realm, the demon realm, the Fae realm, the spirit realm, and the realm of the dead. But they're all kind of connected to humanity's collective unconscious in one way or another.
Yep. Although it seems like the spirits are the closest to humanity, while the Fae are much further away, more likely to view mortals as being their playthings or anything else.
That's it. Okay, so yeah, and the reason being is that we sort of came up with that spirits were sort of connected to humans, I guess, emotions. I don't want to say thoughts because that's a little too broad. I came up with that, but I think emotions makes more sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas Fae are connected to dreams and imagination.
And that's going to have some interesting side effects.
That does sound like it could be an interesting little universe you guys are crafting here.
And then you got the creatures who are just here based on formed from curses such as vampires, werewolves, and other creatures.
Yeah, that's
Yay, vampires.
We're gonna relax. It's gonna be more based on the traditional vampire rather than Twilight.
Yeah, because what we thought of was that what I sort of thought of was, were we gonna have like traditional monsters in there, because like where would they come from? And then I just thought to myself, okay, what happens when you try to control nature? It acts against you, and it fucks you up.
Yes, it does. Now
try doing that
with the supernatural. Yeah, I see where you're going with this.
Exactly. So some human gets it in his head that he can manipulate the supernatural a bit too more than he should. That's what it fucks you up and makes you a monster.
Yep.
Yeah. No, so that explains how things like vampires and werewolves can exist. And other monsters I'm sure we'll come up with later. Demons are sort of born from like humanity's worst traits, obviously.
Oh well, I mean, a pride demon, sloth demon, envy, anger, or rage for that matter.
Exactly. Just like,
yeah, that could work.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not gonna. Funny thing was, this was more or less an idea I just stole from 40K. It more or less works like how the warp does.
Yeah. Can you imagine? So, a glutton demon.
That'd be Pretty. I think
That'll be
a
pretty
lot of the-
gross.
yeah, very gross, fat, disgusting. So that'd be an SJW.
Yeah, no, this is something that makes me curious though about back on the Chaos Gods. Like, why would? Okay, I can get why someone would want to start worshiping Khorne. He'll make you strong. Worship Tzeentch, he'll give you power. Worship Slaanesh, you'll experience sensations and pleasures beyond your imagination. Why would anyone willingly want to worship Nurgle?
You are immune to being sick.
But you're not. But you're a walking rotting corpse, though.
But you can't get sick.
Of course you can't. You've got you've got all the friggin' diseases.
Precisely, you can't get sick. You're immune to disease. You just spread them. You become a vector. Downside is you look like shit, but hey.
If you can't get sick, why not?
That's it. That's it, though. You go with any of the Chaos Gods, you're going to look like shit.
I don't know.
In some ways, just more than others.
I don't know. It seems like with Khorne, you probably get the best reward just because, like Khorne's going to want to make you the strongest warrior possible.
And then you lose your mind.
Yep.
And you probably become like Khan the Betrayer and you chop your best friend in half.
Point taken. Point taken. Point taken, but yeah.
None of it's good.
I think one thing we should probably shy away from though, Matt, is like the idea that humans can like ascend to demonhood or something.
Yeah, that would be something to move away from.
I don't know. Like I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it is, but it's like, I mean, if you go through if you look in like a lot of, if you dig through demonology and shit like that, it's like none of that stuff like that is not supposed to be possible. Like you can't. There's no such thing as a human-born demon.
Nope.
I mean, in fact, demons are supposed to be they're fallen angels. If you go by the classic biblical versions.
The fallen angels, or they could be devils created by other demons, and then obviously there's the whole angle of possession that you could also go with.
Oh yeah, that's I wouldn't say that's not off the table.
Because then you could essentially have depending on how severe the possession is, it could either be just being used as a vessel, or the person actually partially transforms into said demon due to the possession, depending on, once again, how far it goes.
Interesting. That is actually an interesting idea.
Play around with that.
They can at least ascend a Goblin Slayer. But yeah, that's actually an interesting idea. You could have
I mean, look at any story where demons are usually involved. Mm-hmm. Depending on how far the possession goes, normally it's just the mind. But if they start to take more control as they keep control of the body starts changing, warping, and becoming something more horrible, different,
something
and
less human.
Less human. And depending on the changes to the body, will also depend on the type of that possessed the person. So it literally will purely depend on, so let's say a rage demon, which is, anger, strength, and all those things attached to it. You could then play around with the various transformations that would accompany said demon position.
This could probably be a way how monsters get made. Like, get possessed by a like get possessed by a get possessed by a demon, be transformed into a werewolf or something. I don't know.
Which could be a byproduct of that, or you could play by ear, and there's plenty of ideas you could go on with that route.
That is also true. Although I do kind of like, I mean, it's still I kind of like the idea that's that monsters are more the result of humans trying to tamper with the supernatural too much. Although considering that demons
why not have
from
both?
That is also true, but I mean, like considering that demons are born from humanity's worst traits, you're going to tell me that, like, I guess as like one example, like you could have had, like one thing you find like a lot of stuff with witches is like they get their power by striking up contracts with demons and shit.
Yes, and then sometimes if they can't pay the price or whatever is the thing is, or they fail in that contract, they usually either get taken or, if I remember what's a movie?
We talking about The Witch or what movie?
I'm trying to remember. It's one of those obscure Eastern European films I watched once.
Well, that really narrows it down.
Like I said, and this was a while ago. But anyway, so basically what happened was the woman, the witch, transformed into one of those hag creatures because that is the manifestation of the demon that she made the contract with. Due to the said demon possessing her mortal form to come to our world. It's also, if you read up on it, that's also a thing that you'll find sometimes in a lot of literature somewhere. So it's not like it's pulled out of thin air. It was used previously.
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, here's
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here.
Something up.
I think one thing we almost thought about trying about Matt out was like this was something I almost wanted to bring over from Werewolf the Apocalypse, because in that Werewolf the Apocalypse is a kind of a very animistic game.
Yeah.
There's stuff with spirits and it's animist because like literally everything's got a spirit. Tree has a spirit, rock has a spirit, your car has a spirit, your computer has a spirit.
So basically everything's got a spirit.
Exactly. And like and of course there's like there's like a whole realm that the spirits live in. And they can cross over. Werewolves can also somehow cross over too.
Huh.
Well, the reason why they can do that is because in Werewolf the Apocalypse, the reason why they can do that is because werewolves are part spirit themselves. Because the whole backdrop. What were you gonna say, Matt?
Nothing.
Okay, so yeah, the backdrop behind the backdrop to Werewolf is that there's this spirit that represents basically reality itself, which is Gaia. And Gaia has like three powerful spirits that look over creation, which is the Wild, the Weaver, and the Worm. The Wild is just creation, but it creates things for the sake of creating them. It doesn't have a plan to what it does with them. It just comes up with things. Then you got the Weaver, which is order. And you had the Worm, which was supposed to be entropy and would get rid of things that weren't needed anymore. Things go very wrong when the Weaver decides gets it in its head it can order everything, and it tries ordering the Worm, and this drives the worm insane, and it ceases being the spirit of the force of entropy and becomes instead a force of destruction, and it's trying to destroy everything, and it's the source of it's the source of all corruption and pollution in the world.
Wow.
It's trying to destroy everything. And if you think the point of the game is to try to stop the worm, you can't. Because your ancestors fucked up everything.
How fun. So you're stuck with original sin.
Yeah. See, the werewolves, they were created to they were created as like an immune system. Like they were supposed to.
They shook their responsibility, probably.
No, in fact, if anything, they kind of. What happened is during prehistoric times, they had this thing called the Impergium, which was a form of population control on humans. You can probably guess what that involved.
I wonder
Snack
what
time.
Say what?
Snack time.
Yep.
Well, actually, yeah, some of them probably did. And also, werewolves weren't the only shapeshifters that Gaia created. Like, she made all different species of shapeshifters. Like, there were werebats, weresnakes, wereboars, werehyenas.
I've got questions.
Yeah.
How would a fucking weresnake even work?
Yeah, and
I mean, honestly, I'm already envisioning that in my mind. It just looks like no. That's just gonna be horrible CGI.
Yeah. Well, there was also another thing that happened around the same time as the Impergium called the War of Rage, where the werewolves got in their heads that they should be on top. And unfortunately, the other shapeshifters were not in favor of this. So they killed a lot of them. Some of them dangerously to the point of extinction. And the thing with the Impergium has left humanity with a genetic memory, and it's why whenever humans see werewolves, they're hit with delirium. Basically, the human mind cannot process the existence of a werewolf, so you'll either go mad or you'll try to rationalize it away.
Yeah, I can see how that could be bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
And because like I said, and also because they kept killing humans for so long, you can probably figure out what humans figured out eventually.
Yep.
Well, yeah, they figured out silver kills werewolves. And so the werewolves were sort of forced to go underground. And the problem was humans kept expanding.
Yep.
And humans unknowingly sort of spread the worm's corruption.
Gee. How is this not propaganda for tree huggers?
It's I'm not going to say it isn't. Although there are werewolves that are much more sympathetic to humans, like the Glasswalkers and Bonars will actually go out of their way to protect humans, and there are you got werewolves like the Fianna or the Silver Fangs that are very protective of their human kinfolk. These are humans that have werewolf blood in them, but will never experience the first change. They sort of, yeah, in Werewolf the Apocalypse, you're not turned into a werewolf, you're born one. And you can trace it through your bloodline.
Jeez.
Although it's more like a case where you might have had... It's not like a case where your dad was a werewolf, so now you're a werewolf. It's more like a case where your great-great-grandpappy was a werewolf.
Oh, so it is hereditary. Just it doesn't.
It's recessive.
There's generational jumps.
Yeah, it's a very recessive trait.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. About the only tribe in Werewolf the Apocalypse that is openly hostile towards humans are Red Talons, and that's because they're all wolf-born.
That's definitely something to.
Oh, and it gets even better. There's even a tribe that fell to the worm that's called the Black Spiral Dancers.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah,
Let me guess, they're overpowered as fuck.
They are. An encounter with a Black Spiral Dancer should be like one of the short of coming into contact with the worm itself should be the scariest thing in the game.
Wow. So basically,
and also one of your big enemies is a mega corporation called Pentex.
I'm not surprised.
Oh,
Which is and more than a few of its board of directors are in the thrall of the worm.
Gee, they're not layering this on thick enough at all.
No, not at all.
Look, I'm not going to pretend there's some tree hugger propaganda in it, but I like playing the game.
There's
As long as it's fun. It's just I'm just raising an eyebrow here at all the stuff you're mentioning. It's like,
Would you believe that this somehow exists in the same universe as Vampire the Masquerade?
Yep.
With Vampire the Masquerade, it's more about dealing with the fact that, oh, you're now a vampire and you have to live like a monster. You've lost your humanity.
Yeah, and you kind of have to try and retain what little you have because apparently having the beast take over is bad news.
Yeah. I kind of feel like there's a kind of a Nietzschean hook with Vampire.
There's indeed.
Yeah.
You could definitely pick it up if you played Masquerade, Redemption, and Bloodlines.
Yeah, I mean, like the
Bloodlines was actually quite fun.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, if you get right to it, I mean, like the whole thing with the vampire is the whole thing with becoming a vampire. It's essentially living like a vampire. It's essentially becoming the Ubermensch.
Depends on which one you become, because if you become, say, a Malkavian or what's the other one, a Nosferatu, you get two very different kinds of fucked up. Nosferatu, obviously, you look like a walking shit stain. A Malkavian, you become insane.
That is a good point.
So not really the Ubermensch you were looking for, and then if you say become a Toreador, you essentially become an exhibitionist.
pretty much. Saves.
And if you become a what the fuck is called? The gangrel, you become a tree hugger. And then the Bruja, you become an edgy boy.
Yeah, you do.
they are literally walking fucking edgelords, all of them. And then there are the others that you can't play, like the ones who are aligned with the Sabbats and all those guys. It's like, yeah.
You can play as La Sombra or Zenisi.
Jimichi. And then there's the Asian vampires that
Equation, yeah.
It's crazy. There's a lot of detail that they put in there. It's just sad that the Fang Faces got screwed hard by Stephanie Meyer.
Yeah.
Yep. Who knew that bad depictions of vampires could destroy something?
Yeah, true.
Bad depictions of anything can destroy anything.
Yep.
Well, not really, because if that was the case, we wouldn't have SJWs anymore.
That is true.
They are the walking contradiction because they are literally a walking embodiment of a bad representation of anything,
Oh yeah.
and yet they're still around.
Sadly.
Well, that's because they have enablers.
Or maybe it's just the ship is slow to sink.
Perhaps.
Well, I'm not about to rule out enablers, okay?
Oh, there's obviously going to be enablers simply because how either parents or friends or sometimes, in the case of Marvel Comics, employers will do things.
Okay, guys, I'm reaching the point where I'm gonna have to log off, and
Yeah, and I got
Matt?
I got a thing I got to do very soon.
Yeah.
But
so you guys, as long as you carry on, thank you very much. We should try to do this again, hopefully without the technical difficulties next time.
yeah, and hopefully I got a backup channel coming up on
Oh,
next.
Well,
All the
cheers,
backup
guys.
channels are gonna go next week. So
I'll be revealing a little bit more about the characters next time.
that sounds good.
Sounds great.
Cheers.
Bye.
See ya. Oh boy, I can't believe it's 4:30 my time.
It's 1:30 my time now.
We went pretty long.
Yeah, indeed we did. I mean,
Although we had a couple of false starts.
yeah, we did. That is true. That is also true. I'll hit the button right now.